All right. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone from whichever time zone you guys are in. My name is Kunal Ghosh, and we have Rohit Sharma, also the instructor for this particular webinar. Rohit, you might want to just say hi to everyone. You are on mute. Rohit, you are on mute. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Rohit Sharma, and greetings from California to everybody.
Okay, so thanks, Rohit. This webinar is about machine intelligence in EDA slash CAD. This is the topic of the webinar, and the topics or the contents of this webinar will be very much evident after as and when we go across the webinar slides. But let me give you a brief idea about what we are going to do in this particular webinar. We are going to clear off first of all some of the myths that are laid around the machine intelligence and machine learning topic. That's the first thing that we are going to clear off. We are going to do some labs. The labs will be on cloud, and I will explain you how to do the labs on cloud. We'll use Python, and on the fly we'll also learn some amount of Python and some amount of TensorFlow. Finally, we are going to look into, we are basically going to create a wire load model for and generate the resistance and capacitance values for those wire load models and evaluate the accuracy of those wire load models and how can we use them. So that's the top level agenda of this particular webinar. And as and when we go into the contents of the webinar, Rohit will pretty much clear each and every thing that we just discussed or that you must have seen from my blogs. Okay, so that's the context of the webinar. My name is Kunal Ghosh, and this is me. So by now you must have figured out this is me, and I've done my masters from masters in electrical engineering from IIT Bombay, and specialized in VLSI design and nanotechnology at IIT Bombay. And after that, I was working as a physical design engineer and an STA lead in Qualcomm and Cadence, and right now I'm doing I'm working as a full-time in my own company, vlssystemdesign.com. That's about me. We have Rohit. Rohit Sharma is the founder and CEO of Paripath. He's based in Milpitas, California. He has graduated from IIT Delhi. It's an Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. And he has authored 2 books published, and he has also published several papers in international conferences and journals. He has contributed to to the EDA world for over 20 years of learning, improvising and designing solutions. And more or less, you can think of Rohit as one of our mentors in the for our company as well, because in our company VLSI System Design, we have done a lot of courses. We have done some courses on library characterization, and Rohit has been mentoring us for quite some time now. So thanks, Rohit, first of all, for that. And even the participants are glad that we made the course on library characterization. So we are very thankful for the book and you. Next, so these are the 2 books that he has released. One of the books is Characterization and Modeling of Digital Circuits. And the second book is on Machine Intelligence and Design Automation. This book is being released just like few weeks back. And Rohit will talk about this book at the end of this particular webinar. How can you get this book and all those about all those things. And this is the book which we have already done a course on the library characterization part 1, and there is one more webinar that will be delivered by Rohit sometime in the future on library characterization part 2. So we'll get back to that once we reach there. So these are the 2 books. So you might just want to Google about these books. You will find details about this book. And finally, we have to set some rules for this particular webinar. So rules are pretty easy. Basically, we are going to open the Q&A forum. So since we have about 55 participants who registered for this webinar, and currently we have 42 participants live. So basically, we have to set some rules to make this webinar quite effective. So first rule is basically there will be definitely Q&A. So after each small section, we'll open up the forum for 5 minutes for the Q&A, and we'll try to answer all of them during that 5-minute session. And in case we are not able to answer them, just put your questions on the chat box. So chat box you can find if you go to the Zoom button. There should be a button called as chat. So in that chat box, we'll find all the you can find the chat box where you can put all your queries over there, and we'll try to answer them towards the end of the webinar or in the 5 minutes Q&A session. So in that way, we can actually continue the webinar and stop and take immediate breaks to for the Q&A session. So that we have to maintain, since we have a lot of participants. We will cater to each and every questions that has been that has been asked by the participants, and we'll try to answer all of them. Things which we are not able to answer, maybe by the end of the webinar we'll try to take all those questions and answer them. Second, there will be labs. So the labs, as you must have seen from my emails, there are labs which will be done on Google Chrome. So just make sure that you have Chrome on your installed on your laptops, which we have said before. Like a few hours back when I sent the invitation, that was one of the guidelines that we have mentioned in the email. So just make sure that the Google Chrome works fine for you, and you have a Gmail ID. Obviously, most of you might be having a Gmail ID. Just make sure you have it. So these two are important for the labs, and so it might be or might not be possible for all of you to cover the labs. Maybe some people might face issues or something. We don't expect any issues to be there in the labs while running the labs. If there are something, we can take those queries and we can work out after the webinar as well. But we'll try to allot some time for the labs, and we'll try to finish the labs during that period of time. That's the agenda and the rules for making this webinar a very successful one. And keep those questions coming in whenever we open the Q&A sessions one. So that's all. Over to you, Rohit. So Rohit I will stop my screen sharing, and Rohit, you can start sharing your screen and your presentation. So thanks everyone for joining, and let's hand over the baton to Rohit.
Thank you, Kunal.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Rohit, and give me some time to figure this out. I'm trying to find out how do you share the screen. There it is. And okay, share a screen. Okay, so you guys are all able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So, Kunal actually has set up, all the rules pretty good. Now, and couple of them from my side. I love questions, so please keep them coming. However, I won't be looking at them while I'm going through the slides, because this would show up on the screen to everyone, number one. Number two, it kind of will distract me. So I'm going to follow Kunal guidance as to whenever he opens up for the session for question and answer, but please do keep them coming. And my objective for this seminar is, if I am not able to, my objective is to sort of excite you with all the hype and myths going around in the media, to be able to give you the starting point. And this field is very deep. And it's kind of sort of stops at deep learning. But if you go back to whatever you were doing before the seminar and you open up the notebooks and the material one more time, that would be a success. And if you have any questions, I'm going to share the LinkedIn group link here. And Kunal, I've sent you a document with all the links that are useful. So you might want to share them with the participants. I wasn't able to figure it out as to how to do that right in the webinar. The chat box didn't do that for me. Maybe I'm missing something.
Okay, I'll do that.
So please do that. And it also has links for installing the app in the Chrome. So with that, let's get started. So again, this is me. I've worked in 20 years in EDA, and I started my work from TI, Magma, Apache, Cadence, and Paripat. And I have sort of kind of worked in analysis and simulation and modeling in all these years, mostly very close to R&D, and sometimes I've switched hats, especially in startups. When Magma was young or Apache was young, then I kind of flipped my roles a little bit here and there. I love both of them. So I'm a technocrat at heart. I love coding and I like finding out new things, and machine learning kind of falls in that range. So That's me, and here is my email in case you want to reach out directly to me. I may not be able to answer you right in the same day, but I would be reading every email that I get. I actually do read every email that I get. So keep your questions coming, and the better forum for sharing your questions would be in the LinkedIn group, so that it's not just me, you're sharing it with the rest of the participants. If some of them have answers, they can answer your question and share the excitement. So that's that.